Hi everyone, welcome to 1/6 Figure Focus, and in this video we're going to take a look at the Hot Toys Swoop bike from the Mandalorian Season 2. Let's get started. So this is the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Swoop bike from the TV series The Mandalorian. Particularly, it's actually from Season 2 of The Mandalorian. Now look, this is my first impression of this, or first look of this. I haven't looked at these blogger pictures. I have obviously seen The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 multiple times. I have definitely taken a look at some of the prototype pictures, but this is my first look at the actual blogger pictures, so you're getting my genuine kind of first take on these particular pictures, right? So I'm just gonna flick through some of them here. So it's $285 and it's up for you can just buy this now. So this is not a pre-order, it is actually in stock and it's available now at whoever your favorite retailers are. First thing is, it's $285 and it does actually come with a Grogu, because everything, even if you buy a pint of Guinness here in Ireland, it comes with a Grogu. So there's what doesn't come with a Grogu. Everyone gets a Grogu. We've seen this multiple times before with the Mandalorian, not the original Durasteel one, because that was actually, I'm pretty sure I'm 100% sure, the first two Hot Toys 1/6 scale Mandalorian figures from the Mandalorian line was the Durasteel Mando and IG-11. And like, come on, there's a great pair, let's face it. Like, and I think there's those deals happening with Sideshow, and IG-11 is actually sitting and getting marked down, but those two would pair really well together. But they came out before the series, and obviously they didn't give a Grogu with either of them, because it would have been a massive spoiler, because I don't think anyone anticipated the what was to come or what was to happen. I definitely didn't. The show became more interesting, I think, when at the end of the first episode you were introduced to Baby Yoda, or Grogu, whatever you want to call him, because now the Mandalorian is not so one-dimensional. He's not just the mysterious bounty hunter. Now he's got kind of taps into his empathy and so on. But I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but my point is, Grogu has come with the Deluxe Beskar Mando. It's going to come with the Ahsoka, the Rosario Dawson Ahsoka that is due to be released. We've seen it been thrown in with the Scout Trooper speeder bike from the Mandalorian. If you get the pack with not just the single Scout Trooper, but the Scout Trooper and the bike, you get the Grogu, and you actually get the little satchel as well, which is a nice touch. So this bike, there's no option to buy this with Mando. Mando doesn't come with this. So for $285, you get the Swoop bike and you get the baby Grogu. So just flicking through some of these images, it's basically a speeder bike, but it's not just like a normal speeder. Like obviously the first speeder bikes that we saw in Return of the Jedi, they're iconic now at this stage, and the Mandalorian Scout Trooper and speeder bike is very like that, but it's kind of a whitish color. It's not as brown as Return of the Jedi. I have still to pick one of those up. I got the Scout Trooper from Return of the Jedi, because Trooper Collector and Original Trilogy, so white had to, but I didn't get the bike because I actually do want to get the Mandalorian Scout Trooper with the bike, because I do want the Grogu, and particularly little satchel here as well. If you can take that off, then you can put it on the shoulder of the Scout Trooper with Grogu in it, or on Mandalorian, whatever you want. So I'm not going to get one of each, but I have got the Original Trilogy Return of the Jedi Scout Trooper, and it's a fantastic looking trooper. Actually, it's very unique looking. But this here, it looks like a speeder bike, but it's unique. I really like the front of it. It's just a bit different. It's definitely not the same as the Return of the Jedi speeder bikes. It's definitely not the same as the Mandalorian Scout Trooper speeder bike. It's unique. It's really just a Mando speeder bike, really. It's a unique looking speeder bike, or swoop bike as they call it here. I think it's pretty cool, and it was from a very, very good episode of Season 2. I really like it, and I want to get a speeder bike, but I do think I'm still going to opt to get the Scout Trooper and speeder bike. But the thing about this is, it's $285. Yes, it's a vehicle. Now, I have the Batpod. That box was enormous, huge box, right? And a lot of collectors, especially if they're tight for space, they don't collect vehicles. So there is a possibility that this will follow suit. And when I say follow suit, I mean do the exact same thing that the Return of the Jedi speeder bike has done, that set the Return of the Jedi Scout Trooper and speeder bike, or the Mandalorian Scout Trooper and speeder bike, or the Batpod. They're starting to get significantly marked down, because the box is big, it's quite expensive pieces, they're going to take up a lot of space. Some people are just staying in their lane. Some people just collect 6 scale figures and they don't want any vehicles, and that's okay. Even myself personally, I would love a 1/6 scale 1989 Batmobile. I would love a 1/6 scale Tumbler. It's starting to get heavily reduced. but reality checked in, and I just kind of catch myself thinking, and I know, cop yourself on, you've nowhere to put that. And I don't want to just get it and sit in a box, because then it's hoarding. If you don't display your stuff, I mean, look, different people display in different ways. It's not up to me to decide or to tell people what they should and shouldn't do. But for me, if I was to buy the tumbler, it's not going to fit in the detolf. I refuse to put stuff on top of the detolfs. What am I going to do? Just put it on the desk here? So because I can't personally display it, therefore I'm not going to buy it. The only exception would be is if I had decided to order module cases, and then I could kind of go, okay, I can buy it and store it, and then the module case come and then put it in. That's the only exception, but to be honest, I'm not even at that stage yet. I'm happy with the detolfs, but I can't rule it out. So yeah, with that being said, I'm not going to get the 1/6 scale vehicles. So if I'm committing to something like this, even though it's not a massive tumbler or a 1989 Batmobile or a DeLorean, it's still quite big. Like the Batpod box was nearly a meter long. It was huge. But luckily I have a display space for it, and I don't regret it. It's a beautiful looking piece. So with this though, if I'm getting another speeder bike, I think I'm only going to get one speeder bike. So the options are Return the Jedi, Mandalorian, or this Swoop bike. And I do actually really like the Mandalorian speeder bike, and just for the full set, I do actually want the Grogu with the satchel and stuff like that, or this one here, but I don't think I could justify both. So there's a chance that this could follow suit with the Batpod. It could get reduced down from 285, that's what it currently is. There's no option to buy Mandalorian with this, which is fair enough, because they've already done the OG Mando 2.0, whatever. I don't even know if it's 2.0, but with the blurg. And then they look like they're going to do, and they're obviously going to do the Beskar Chrome Mando, which, you know, people lost their minds over because it's literally, you know, the superior version, when I don't think a lot of people had even got their Beskar version, the non-chrome version. But they're going to do another version of that, and signs are pointing that it is more articulated to fit inside the N1 Starfighter, if that's ever comes. I still don't think that's going to happen. But my point on this is that even though it looks really, really well, I'm not sure I can justify buying two speeder bikes. So it's either this, and I pop the Beskar Mando, which I have behind me, on top of it, or I go and get the Scout Trooper from the Mandalorian with the bike and the Grogu and everything. But this does look good. So there's a possibility this could be dropped down. Now at the same time, I know you're thinking, okay, yeah, fine, the speeder bike, the Return of the Jedi speeder bike, and the Mandalorian speeder bike, that started getting significantly dropped down at different retailers, and the Batpod has started getting dropped down, and I think there's only more to come with Black Friday and Christmas and the New Year's sales. I think there's going to be some massive deals to be had, particularly around when you least expect it. I think everyone expects it to happen Black Friday, and there probably will be deals, but I reckon like people are broke in January. So therefore, it's very, very hard for companies to make money, because people are done with their spending. They're broke after Christmas. They've been buying presents. They've been going out. They've been, you know, meeting people for drinks and dinner or whatever, socializing, and they're broke. So that's when a lot of the best sales happen, because I think sales are like buses. When you want a bus, there's none there. And then suddenly, when you don't need a bus, three of them pull up at the same time. So that's what's going to happen. Like, you know, you want the sale, it's not there, but in January, when we've no money, bang, you're going to get those sales. Around Christmas time, January, I do think there's going to be massive sales, I would imagine. So it's possible that this gets dropped down, but at the same time, the counter argument, because I'm trying to look at this from a few different angles, that Batmobile from the Robert Pattinson, the Batman movie that came out this year, so the Batman, the Hot Toys, the Batcycle they call it, just a regular black motorcycle, that got announced in, I think it was April. And no, it wasn't April. So that only got announced. When was that? Was it back in March? It was in March. It got announced this year, and it's already gone to waitlist. So what's stopping this actually happening? That could happen to the same thing. Although this was announced, I think, last year. But at the same time, like, this could very well go to waitlist as well. So I'm going to flick through more of these images. Like, the images are very, very samey. I like the front of this. I really like how narrow, and like there's not much going on in this, just like two rods that, you know, obviously link directly to the handles. And I think, was it this Swoop bike that in the second episode in the Mandalorian season 2 gets destroyed? And is it one of these handles that actually comes with the new Chrome Mando, you know, the one that comes with Boba Fett, not Boba Fett, the Boba Fett armor, the packs for the dragon meat, and then he's holding one of these controllers for the speeder bike, and he has all the stuff like, you know, like looks like he's running away from home, and he has all his life basically packed into that. I think that's actually a nice touch, because, you know, it's chromed that Mando obviously comes with the Pedro Pascal head sculpt and all that kind of stuff, like, but I think this is one of those yeah, I think that is one. I think it's one of these handles that he comes with from that. Let me know if I'm wrong about that in the comment section down below. I really like how narrow and like angular this is. Like these two plates, they look really stylish and obviously very pointy looking. And it's a very stripped down speeder bike. It's almost like there was supposed to be a cover over this, but it got stripped down. I like that. Like there's nothing to it here. There really isn't. Oh, that's a nice. That is. Like I said, I haven't actually checked out these blogger photos. That's pretty cool with the Imperial Destroyer. That's a nice touch. I think that's pretty good. This particular blogger, I think they've done a good job. Yeah, look, it's very simple. It's very, very simple, but I do like it. And I wonder now, with the standard Beskar Mandalorian, that looks a bit awkward there, that pose, to be honest, but I wonder will you be able to pose him on it quite good. So it's not even showing the speeder bike there, but this must be the Grogu that comes with it, has a little kind of a smile going on. Yeah, like it's a cool looking bike, and I think it will look great with the if you have that Beskar Mando, the one that's sitting on Sideshow. And again, you'll have no problem getting it if you want it, because people are selling that for an absolute bargain. So if you wanted to get this bike and you didn't want to get the weight or pay for that one with the Pedro Pascal head sculpt, that Mandalorian with the chrome Mando, if you wanted to just pick up one of these, you pick up one of these really, really cheap. I do see bargains on this though. I wouldn't be surprised now if by the time Black Friday, or I like the base too. I like the base, just has a bit of terrain on it, a bit of sand and rocks. It's a nice touch, but what I like about that is this is perfect for a floating shelf. If you're looking for like for me, detops obviously you can't fit vehicles in, but you can't fit quarter scales in. You can just have your, if you're not rearranging the levels, you can only fit 1/6 scale figures in. Fine, and I'm perfectly comfortable with that, because what I like is to do the 1/6 scale behind me. But then I also have these floating shelves, which I referenced multiple times. I've done a video on it, but what that does is it gives you more leeway. I can put a quarter scale on each of these 5 floating shelves if I want, or I can have like a little scene and put 2 or 3 figures on it, so I can still keep the clean display behind me, but then have like, you know, maybe like diorama going on. Like the moment looking up here, I've got 5 shelves and it's an endgame display. So on one of the shelves I have the Battle Damage 85 and then endgame cap, and another shelf with the Iron Patriot with rocket on the shoulder, and the top shelf of the Pyramid I've got the Battle Damage endgame Thanos. Then the Iron Spider, even though that's technically Infinity War, it was in Endgame, so it's Endgame too. And then I have one more, which if Loki ever gets released, that could be Loki's spot. But at the moment I've got the Heavy Mando and the OG Durasteel Mando and Baby Grogu. And just, what my point is, like, this would be perfect for a floating shelf. Like, look at that, it takes up very little footprint, and with the dynamic pole, you could just pop that like on one of the shelves, and then maybe underneath a lower shelf you could have some stormtroopers like blasting up at it. It would just be a very kind of a cool display and a bit different from what's normally behind me. So I do like that stand, not only the terrain, but the fact that it's a small footprint. I think this is a cool looking bike. 285, that's fine and all. Like, I mean, if you could, I think you can do cheaper than this. I wouldn't pay 285 for it. Like, even with Sideshow now, I've got 110 points, or $110 worth of points. So I could get that, what's that down? That'll bring it down to 175. But then with shipping on this, like, be honest, I priced that 1-to-1 scale Grogu, the Hot Toys one, the child. That's usually $400. They were doing a 25% off discount there just yesterday. So brought it down to about like $290 or $300. And then I applied my points, but I looked at the shipping to Ireland was $90. I can definitely do better than that, and then the customs tax. So look, if I was to get this, I won't be paying $285 for it, and I won't be going with Sideshow, but I do think it is a nice piece, and having the Beskar Mando with it, it would pair really well for this. So there's a few scenarios I can see here. I can definitely see it discounted, like the other speeder bikes from Mandalorian and Return of the Jedi and the Bat Pod. I can definitely see that happening. But at the same time, I could actually see this going to waitlist as well. Like the Bat Cycle, I think the first scenario is more likely, and I think this could be discounted as soon as Black Friday. It could be, we could see this discounted towards the end of the month. Even, I think it's Black Friday. Is Black Friday the 25th? I think it's around that. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section below. But like Black Friday is like a week-long event now, so you could be talking anyway between Monday to 21st. And we are seeing things get released, go on to Sideshow, and the day they're released, they're already discounted because there's just like discount codes which apply, and they are doing Geeksgiving. So yeah, look, in summary, this is a cool looking piece. I think Mandalorian would look great on it with the Grogu and all that kind of stuff. Perfect for a floating shelf. I'm really thinking about it now. It would look great. Not going to commit to it. I don't have it in pre-order. I wouldn't rule it out, but it would have to be a really good deal to swing me in this direction. So folks, look, that's it. I just want to actually going to flick through some more of these photos. So maybe there's something I've missed. The photos are mostly him on the bike and then Grogu either on his lap or they're kind of the same. The blogger's done their job right. I really like that one with the Imperial Star. This is interesting. You can you attach on his rifle there? I think he looks a little awkward on it though. I do think he looks a little awkward. I think you really have to futz around with it and manipulate it. Maybe that's because he's looking to the side. But yeah, I'd say if you really push those joints, if you remove the fat suit, I'd say you'll have a lot more range of motion there. But maybe that's how he's supposed to sit. Could be just that he's looking towards us. Yeah, a bit of manipulation there and messing around and a bit of futzing with it. And I do think like he looks great there, but could be the angle as well. So yeah, they're my thoughts on it. I like this. It looks good. If it was for an absolute, if it was like 50% off and stuff like that, and I could get like free shipping or something like that, I might consider it. But I'm not rushing out to pick this up. I don't need it. It's just very cool. I pass on a lot of things I like to collect the things I love. If you want to support the channel, by the way, if you are watching the video still, put a thumbs up in the comment section down below. I'm interested to see who's actually made it this far. Very much appreciated if you have. If you want to support the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Are you getting this or not? And actually answer. Do you think this is going to be discounted, or is this going to go to waitlist very quickly like that bat cycle? You can also follow me on Instagram and follow me on Twitter. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.